Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday talk. Today, we're going to be talking about the lifetime value of your clients. I'm Janet Semenova, and I am here with my partner, Angie Rice. We are the co-founders of Centered CEOs, and our company is focused on helping small business owners create profitable and sustainable businesses. Our goal is to help you elevate your brand and your market dominating position, delegate responsibilities, and replicate successful outcomes. Hi, Kim. So good to see you. Replicate successful outcomes that are predictable so that you know exactly how much money is going to be coming into your business and you can understand how profitable your business is in order to scale it rapidly. So again, today we're going to be talking about the lifetime value of your clients. And this is something that Angie and I discuss all the time. For those of you who don't know us, I am a two-time business owner. My background is in healthcare. I am a certified nurse practitioner and a registered nurse and a health coach, certified health coach, and a mindset expert. And Angie is a CPA and forensic accounting expert and also a certified fraud examiner. So we have very diverse backgrounds, and our passion is really to help small business owners grow and scale. Go ahead.
And a lot of our experience really stems from our combined backgrounds, as well as being small business owners and knowing what the day-to-day responsibilities entail, as well as the strategies that are important for long-term success in your business. We are here to talk about the lifetime value of your client. And a lot of times we focus on that initial point of sale and the revenue that is generated from a client. But big picture, the actual value of a client can extend way beyond that first sale. So you really have to understand your products and your services, what you're offering clients, and really the client journey. Each product and service and every company has a different client journey. For some businesses, your goal is to maintain a client for as long as possible. And some relationships can last years and years and even decades. Whereas other businesses, your goal is to solve their problem in a much shorter period of time. And maybe that client graduates from your business, but they continue to provide you value through referral programs and testimonials. And maybe there's also other ways for you to create income streams through that client, through joint ventures or through diversification of your products and services. We are going to focus more on the big picture thought that goes into really understanding the value of your clients. And then we will do part 2 on Friday, where we'll dive more into the idea that you can utilize a formula to really assess how much time and money you should be investing in order to generate a new client, and what is the predictable revenue stream that you can anticipate based on your historical performance, as well as the performance related to the type of client you're servicing, because you might have a multitude of different types of clients, more than one ideal client. So you have to really understand the life cycle of your different products and services and how you can cross-sell to clients.
Yeah, I love that. It's such an important topic. And I think, for a lot of us, we focus a lot as small business owners on bringing people into the business. And that's a huge goal and a huge pain point and struggle for so many business owners. How do we bring people into our business? How do we attract new clients? How do we find ideal clients? How do we set up the right offers and services in order to bring in the right types of clients? But the problem is that when you focus all your energy and attention on bringing in new clients, you often forget to reactivate your existing clients and to revisit the quality and value of the products and services that you're offering. I have two different types of clients. Okay, and that's totally okay to have different types of clients. We have very different ideal clients in our different businesses. We also have different ideal clients for different products and services that we're offering. The goal is not to have one version of an ideal client. The goal is to diversify your products and services so that you can attract different types of clients. But the other flip side of that is you need to know how much each group that you're servicing. So let's say you have ideal clients that buy your low-level offers, you have clients that buy your mid-level offers, and clients that buy your high-level offers. The amount of money that you should, and time that you should be investing in attracting and retaining clients at those different levels has to match the ROI that those clients are bringing you. So it depends on the goals that you have for your business. There are some businesses where you have a group of people that are only going to buy your low-level offers, and that is what their target is, that's what their demographic is, that's what their price point is, and that's okay. The goal for that group that's going to buy your low-level offers should then probably be volume, so that they stay with you for a long period of time and they keep buying from you over and over and over again. You might have a small group of people that buy your really high-level offers, and maybe they only buy from you once or twice, but the amount that they buy from you is exponentially higher. So you can probably afford to invest a little bit more into nurturing and attracting those types of clients. But if you don't understand and you don't have those buckets broken down, and you don't understand which bucket each type of client falls into, it's very, very hard to run a profitable business and to accurately predict what your revenue is going to be and to accurately predict what the profitability is going to be on that revenue. Right, Ange?
Absolutely. And there's a lot of different variables, and you have to know how to target and set the price points and the quantities, all the different factors that determine ultimately how much product and you sell and what the margin is on that product. So just to talk about, the different variables, price obviously is very important. If you're putting a lot of time and effort in order to sell a product, or it has a high cost associated with producing that product or service, then you're going to need to make sure that your price reflects the amount of time and effort that goes into that service. Whereas you might have other products that once you develop that product, there's not a lot of costs associated with selling it. And in that case, it's more of a cash cow where you can keep selling and selling. And the more you sell, the more profitable you are, because those products don't have high costs associated with each unit that you sell. So a perfect example would be if someone's doing one-on-one consulting, where they're required to be present and they're only able to service one client at a time, that is going to have a higher price point than if you're able to do a course that is a webinar that's recorded and can be utilized over and over again to sell to a multitude of clients. You have increased quantities in that case is going to allow you to sell more without necessarily incurring costs. Whereas when you do the one-on-one, there's always going to be that cost associated with the labor that's required to provide the service, whether it's you as the business owner or whether it's one of your team members that does the consulting with that one-on-one client.
Yeah, so going back to then the lifetime value, you have to understand and be able to calculate how much revenue on average you expect each client that you attract into your business to bring you. And a lot of business owners struggle, especially in the service industries. And Angie and I work with a lot of businesses in the service industry because we are frequently trading time for money. And so again, when there is only so many hours in the day and you are working one-on-one with people, you can only service so many people. And so if you have now spent, let's say, $100 to bring a client into your system, and on average, the ROI on that client is $1,000, well, then that is a very good investment of your money. You have a huge ROI on your investment. If you spent $100 to bring in a client and the ROI on that client is $125, then it probably is not worthwhile for you to invest that much money to bring that particular client in. And the other flip side of that is how much time are you also investing? Because the goal of any business should be able to, that should be that you should be able to scale. So you, in order to grow your business, in order to expand, in order to offer more products and services, in order to become more profitable, you have to be growing and you have to be able to scale. And to scale and grow, you have to have automation and processes and procedures that are very, very systematic. And if you're trying to scale and you don't have automation, you're going to struggle a lot with getting a good ROI on the types of clients that you're bringing in. Does that make sense? I don't, if you guys are following me, let us know, but that's where we're going with this.
And I think Janet is bringing up a really good point. And her point is, if you want to sell more quantities, substantially more quantities, you are going to have services and products that allow you to scale and automate so that the ability to sell more is realistic. So the way that you do that is you have to be able to plan and prepare for that growth and to implement as much automation as possible so that you're not attaching labor and other costs to the procurement. And another factor to really, really focus on when we look at the long-term value of a client is that you want to be able to control these variables as much as possible. You want to be able to control that quantity. You want to be able to adjust that price upward as you create more value or exclusivity for your client. So higher price point when there's exclusivity, probably a lower price point if your product is perceived to be more of a commodity. The other thing to really focus on is also the fact that one variable that I think a lot of business owners overlook is the fact that you have control over the longevity of a client relationship. I was on a call with a business owner just the other day, and we focused on, wow, his comment was that I'm struggling to maintain clients beyond 2 years. Something happens in year 2 that makes it difficult for me to sell to them thereafter. So his initiative is really to take a look at those clients that continue to do business with him for 3 to 5 to 10 years to determine why those clients, which are likely more ideal, stay with him for a longer period of time and continue to support his business by buying products and services so that he can modify and reinvent the products and services such that the longevity on average of 2 years is increased to 3 and 4. And when you build that into his business model, the compounding effect of each client increasing their client journey with you from on average 2 years to 3 is a substantial difference that can easily be calculated as you start to see that transition of your clients doing business with you for a longer period of time.
Yes, such a great point. And we have a comment from Kim that says, yes, automation and initial engagement. I think that is really, really important. What I think a lot of the small business owners struggle with when we're trying to bring business in is filtering out our ideal clients from non-ideal clients. And so if you have to sit down and really analyze how much time are you investing in screening and doing those initial discovery calls with the clients that are coming into your system, and what is the average ROI on those clients. So again, clients that, if you are selling lower level products and services, those types of transactions need to be automated in order for them to be profitable. Because if you have to, let's say you're a travel advisor and you're selling package tours where you're averaging, $100 commission, you cannot afford to spend, 2 hours inquiring with the client if they're the right client and then spend another 6 hours working on their trip to earn that $100 commission. So you have to be able to automate that very quickly. On the flip side, if you are selling very, very high level offers, you can afford to maybe interview 5 clients and pick 1 or 2 clients that you're actually going to work with out of those 5, because the ROI on those 1 or 2 clients is going to be sufficient to create a profitable revenue stream. So it's very, very important to have categories and boxes. And I think in exercise, because we're all about exercises, Angie and I, and we're always writing things down, and we have a lot of workbooks and worksheets that we're doing, is you need to sit down and create buckets for the clients that you currently serve. And you don't have to, if you have a lot of clients, you might not be able to go through all of them. You really probably should. If you're starting out and you have a newer business, this would be a quicker exercise. And write out, what is your goal ROI on, in bucket 1, your goal ROI in bucket 2, bucket 3, bucket 4, and then go through the clients and put them in different buckets. So go through your clients and say, okay, these are my ideal clients. These are clients that have been with me for, a year or 2 years. This is on average how much money they spend with me per year. This is what my ROI is on these clients. And these are the clients in bucket A. And then do the same thing for different buckets. So if you have people that are buying your low level, mid level, people that only maybe buy from you one time, what is your investment of time and money to attract those clients that are only going to buy from you one time and never buy from you again? And then the 80-20 rule begins to make itself very apparent. You'll be able to see very quickly that the people in bucket 1 might be very, very few clients, but they're driving the majority of your revenue, your profitability, and also taking up a smaller portion of your time often than the people in clients in buckets 2, 3, and 4, who are driving much lower revenue and may not be repeat clients, may not be ideal clients, and are also taking up a substantial amount of your time. So how do you eliminate some of those and focus more of your time and energy on attracting the clients in bucket 1 that are your ideal clients? You guys following? What types of general things did he need to do that he can be used by all? Okay, we'll get to that in a second. But is that making sense?
The question that is being asked, I think it pertains to how do you increase your longevity of a client when you notice that you're not achieving your desired client journey life cycle. So Kim, one of the ways that you can really look at that, and one of my suggestions to this business owner, was to categorize those clients that are investing a significant amount of time buying and selling your product over a longer period of time. So put a bucket of all of those clients that are far exceeding that 2-year average. So anyone that's 5 years on up with you should be in one category, and then look at everyone in the middle, and then look at your newer clients that have been with you for less than a year. And really, in looking at the client matrix that way, we kind of discovered that the company was overspending their time nurturing the new clients and engaging those new clients, and they were favoring and making a lot of sales calls to those clients that have been with them for 10 years and had no chance of probably ever leaving the business. So there was not enough nurturing taking place within the businesses that, yes, they've been with you for a couple years, and that nurturing that they were used to receiving in the first year, that onboarding process, was going away, and they didn't feel as connected to the company. And so that's where there was a shift in those clients going elsewhere for their business. So they are going to develop a new initiative within their marketing and sales to better nurture and recognize the clients that fall into that category of, they're not a new client and they're not a client that's been with us for years and years and years, so that they can develop a longer lasting relationship with that category of clients.
Bingo. I love that. You have to nurture the clients that you already have. And I think that that's a really important strategy that business owners oftentimes, especially when you get busy, tend to overlook. It's, okay, who are the clients that have valued the services that you provide over the years, but maybe have fallen off a little bit? And what can you do to re-engage them? And sometimes they have fallen off because maybe they have outgrown the services that you initially provided and have kind of graduated from that, which is a good thing. Or they have fallen off because they felt like they weren't being as nurtured and cared for as they were in the initial stages. And so if the issue is that if they've outgrown the services that they initially signed up for and have felt like they've received all the value that they needed and now are ready to kind of graduate, that's okay. What you can do then is figure out how you can create a next level offer for those clients, because those are the people that are truly your ideal clientele, because you know that they're the ones that are going to value you. You already have built in trust and credibility, which is huge, which can take, weeks, months, or years to nurture. And they already know and like you. So if you create offers specifically targeted to their next level pain points, then you can very easily re-engage those clients at a much lower cost for acquisition than it would be to attract that level client from scratch. And so again, you have to look at, okay, where are the clients that maybe have not booked with me for worked with me for 6 months or a year or even 2 years, and what has happened? And then, reach out to them, maybe have a conversation with them and figure out what are their new pain points and how can you help them resolve those pain points, and what can you offer them that's going to be of really, really high value. And you can invest a little bit more time and energy into those clients, because you know that if you offer them the right service or the right product, that they are very likely to buy from you again. Because statistically speaking, people who have purchased from us once are much likelier to continue to purchase from us down the road if they are offered the right service.
Another example of a company, if we want to look at an illustration where they identified a way to increase the value of their clientele. We talked about a bunch of factors that play into the formula of determining that that value of a client. And I think it's important that we'll get into the formula and some of the details and how to work with that formula to really assess the profitability from your client, not just from one sale, but the expected sales over time. But I think it's important to recognize that your profit margin on your products and services, there's so many ways to move that, preferably up versus down. So you want to really assess your profit margin on your products and services and recognize automation is a perfect example. If you use more automation in your products and services, you're going to increase productivity, and that's going to raise your margin. But there's also other ways. Systems and processes help to increase that margin. Price increases, when there's opportunities to raise prices, that's another means to increase profitability. And one mistake that we see a lot of business owners make is when you see price increases on the cost side of your business, if your suppliers are increasing your costs, you need to be timely identifying those cost increases and passing them along to your client. It should not come from your profit. So as prices increase on the costs of your products and services that you incur, you got to be mindful that it's not your responsibility to take a loss, but rather you need to increase your prices to reflect the change in the market.
I love that. That is so important. And I think that is a huge mistake that a lot of business owners make. A lot of business owners that we talk to will say, when was the last time you raised your prices? Never. 5 years ago. I can tell you a perfect example. We have a landscaper who I absolutely love. We have lived in this house that we're currently in for 10 years. He has charged us the same amount for weekly maintenance for 10 years. He has never increased prices. And granted, we're loyal customers. We would never leave him and go to a different landscaper. But I know for a fact that his costs have gone up. The way that the amount that he pays labor has gone up. So maybe his fixed costs of, machinery haven't increased, but his labor costs have increased. And so what happens if he is now paying the workers that are working on my lawn $2-3 an hour more, but my maintenance stays exactly the same? He is taking his profit margin decreases substantially. And every year that his cost rises and my price that he charges me stays the same, his loss increases. And it can add up to thousands, tens of thousands, or with large corporations, millions of dollars of lost revenue. And it's an unnecessary loss, because most of the time, 9 times out of 10, if you come to your loyal customers and say, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to increase your price a little bit, marginal increases, 3, 5, even up to 10%, are oftentimes going to be very well received. And a 3 to 5% increase in price can actually increase your profits substantially more.
The pandemic is a perfect example. A lot of small business owners who were affected by the pandemic are bleeding money because they're doing less business. And on top of doing less business, they are having to put into place protocols for cleanliness, sanitation, and social distancing. We've talked to a lot of business owners that identified right away, wow, taking into consideration the lower volume of business and these additional measures that are costing me dollars, I am going to implement a additional service fee, at least for now, until things come back in line with my prior revenue stream. Now, again, if those protocols stay in place for a long duration of time, they may continue to charge that service fee. But in the interim, those companies that implemented that service fee, most people identified that there was a valid reason for charging that fee, and it allowed the business owner to avoid having to take a loss associated with the changes that were made to their business due to the new protocols and standards in place.
Yeah, and another thing that's really important too is if you, especially during the pandemic or really any time that your costs increase and maybe you can't pass on the full amount to your clients. Maybe the competition is really high. Maybe your competitors are slashing their prices, whatever it may be. There are situations in which you may not be able to fully pass on your cost. What can you do so that your revenue does not decrease? And there's quite a lot of things that you can implement in order to maintain your revenue or even increase your revenue while your costs are increasing as well. And some of those things include diversification. So it means that maybe you can't pass on the cost. Let's say you can't raise your prices substantially, but maybe you can bundle, maybe you can offer new products or services to your existing clients that they are more likely to buy from you than from someone else because they, again, already know, like, and trust you. And by doing that, by offering them more products and services, or by offering them new products and services, or by diversifying what you already offer, you can increase your profitability because, again, you're not investing in acquiring new clients. So the profit margins on an existing client will tend to be much higher than the profit margins on a new client, because by the time when you attract a new client, you first have to recoup the amount of time and money that you invested into attracting that client and bringing them into your sales funnel. The clients that are already there, the profit margin, again, I'm going to say it one more time, the profit margins on your existing clients are dramatically higher than the profit margins of attracting new clients, even if those clients come to you organically. And sometimes business owners will say, well, it's okay because, these new clients are referrals. I'm mostly a referral business, so it doesn't cost me anything to bring somebody else in. It doesn't cost me money to acquire new clients. That's a very faulty line of thinking, because every single client is costing you something, unless you're 100% fully automated, because they are costing you time. And you have to invest time in order to get to know them, in order to build that credibility and trust, and in order to figure out what services are going to be right for them. And so you're investing something into attracting those new clients versus the clients that you already know, who you know exactly what they're going to need from you and what their pain points are and what their next pain points are. So you're actually providing them more value by offering them newer products and services while also increasing your ROI and your revenue streams.
Well, hopefully we touched on quite a few of the variables, if not all of the variables, and really letting you know, as the business owner, you play a big part in controlling the variables, which ultimately gets you to the outcome, which is a higher value associated with the lifetime value of a client. So let's quickly go over these different variables. The lifetime value is the outcome that we're looking to solve. We're looking to increase the lifetime value of a client. We do that through profits by increasing our profit margin, by selling a greater quantity of products and services to each of our existing clients and also to our new clients. And so not only the number of times they buy from you, but also for how long do they buy for you is another important variable. So are they your client for a year? Are they your client for 2-3 years? So that's a factor that you can definitely control by cultivating relationships with your clients and finding ways to diversify your products and services so that you can extend the relationship and the value that you're able to provide a client. So you want the repeat clients as much as possible. And then there's the marketing cost associated with generating a new client. And in some business, that marketing cost is your upfront cost to generate that lead. And you may think, wow, thereafter, I don't have to invest additional dollars. But that's not always the case. Sometimes we have to also rebrand and keep ourselves relevant to our existing clients so they continue to know that we exist. And as we introduce new products and services, they should be the first people that we inform so that we can increase our existing business with them. So that marketing cost, a lot of companies, believe it or not, they think they're spending adequate costs related to marketing, but they're not factoring in that what they pay up front versus what they pay to nurture that relationship over time. So you really have to assess how much marketing dollars are directed towards your new business versus your existing business. And sometimes you might even find where you're spending all of your marketing dollars in the wrong direction. It's not it might be giving you exposure, but if it's not aligning, if your message and your marketing is not spent in areas where you're attracting your ideal clients, arguably those are wasted dollars. So you have to really make sure that those marketing dollars are being spent on the right clients that you want to attract. And that includes new business and your existing business. So thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to diving deeper on Friday to really talk about and show you illustrations of how different variables can increase and decrease and what impact that has on the value of a client.
And if you guys like what you're hearing, please invite friends, other business owners that you think would benefit from being in our community. Please invite them into the Facebook group. Follow us on YouTube as well. We now have a YouTube channel, and we go live every Tuesday to talk about different pain points in running a small business and how to solve those pain points. We will be talking again on Friday about more of the financial nitty-gritties of how to determine the lifetime value of your clients and how to get those numbers, because a lot of times in business, it's all about the numbers and the bottom line. So how do we get those numbers? No fluff, just pure financial analysis that is broken down, easy financial analysis 101. I call it financial analysis for dummies because that's sometimes how I am not a math person. Angie is our CPA. And so we're happy to have you guys here with us. Please comment, like, and share. And again, please invite people into this group if you feel like they would benefit from learning strategies to run their small businesses. Thank you.